take a slow, deep breath and let it out. Allow yourself to settle in, wherever you are, as we embark together on a quiet, meandering journey through the distant past. Tonight, we travel to feudal Japan, a land of misty mountains and silent forests, of wooden castles looming above narrow, winding streets of discipline, ritual, and hidden danger. You've heard of the samurai, the warriors of old Japan, wrapped in armor, sworn to codes of honor and loyalty. But beyond the myth, beneath the polished surface of swordplay and serene gardens, lies another story, a quieter, grittier, more uncomfortable story. This is the tale of the forgotten samurai foot soldiers, of relentless marches, bitter cold, and a constant dance with dishonor. In this gentle exploration, we will slip through time, visiting for corners of Japan's storied past. We'll begin by stepping directly into the worn sandals of a low-ranking samurai foot soldier, trudging through the mud and shadows of endless campaigns. Then, we'll drift toward a somber tale of loyalty and downfall, where 47 masterless samurai carved their fate into the annals of legend. Next, we'll peer beyond the veil of secrecy, where silent figures, those known as ninja, move in darkness, their true history far stranger than myth. Finally, we'll cross the threshold of a daimyo's palace, where polished floors hide whispered plots, and luxury entwines with peril. Let the soft hush of history lull you deeper into stillness, and so we begin. Why it sucked to be a samurai foot soldier. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a forested trail, the morning air thick with mist and the scent of damp earth. Your armor is heavy upon your shoulders, layers of lacquered plates and cords pressing against your body, every step accompanied by the faint creak of worn leather and wood. You are a samurai foot soldier, not one of the famed mounted warriors whose names are etched in poems. No, you are among the countless lesser men expected to march, fight, and die without fanfare. The road ahead winds endlessly through hills and valleys. Your destination is another battlefield. The exact location is uncertain. Such is the way of war in this land of shifting alliances and ceaseless skirmishes. The rhythm of your life is simple: marching, waiting, fighting, and marching again. By dawn, you rise from your bedding of straw, already stiff from the cold, your breath a faint cloud in the gray air. The camp stirs with a quiet, weary murmur, soldiers checking their weapons, tightening the straps of their armor, sharing bowls of thin rice gruel before the day's march begins. The food is plain, barely enough to fill the hollow ache in your belly, but hunger is a familiar companion. The march begins as the sun barely lifts above the horizon. The path is uneven, underfoot, and every step stirs dust into the dry air or mud into your sandals after rain. You carry not only your weapons, perhaps a long spear or a simple sword, but also supplies for your unit, rope, firewood, and bundles of spare gear tied across your back. The commanders bark orders from ahead, but their words barely reach you. Your task is simply to follow, to endure, to keep moving. As the hours stretch on, your mind drifts into a kind of quiet numbness. The world becomes little more than the sound of your own footsteps, the weight of your pack, and the steady ache in your legs. There is little conversation, words are spared, breath conserved. Your fellow soldiers are as wary as you, focused on placing one foot in front of the other. Sometimes the march is interrupted by the threat of bandits or an enemy scout. You clutch your spear tighter, heart quickening, though outwardly you remain still. Combat, when it comes, is brutal and brief, but soldiers like you are often pushed forward in the first wave, expendable, expected to soften the enemy line before the mounted samurai sweep in. You charge alongside your comrades, shouting to summon courage, though your voice feels distant in your own ears. The clash of battle is overwhelming, but even in this chaos, you are bound by strict discipline. To break formation, to retreat without orders, these are acts punishable by death. Sometimes at the hands of your own commanders, you fight, not for glory, but because survival depends on it. When the battle fades and silence returns, you are left amidst the wreckage, fallen men, shattered weapons, and smoke curling into the evening sky. There is no time for mourning, no grand speeches, or funeral rites, only the quiet task of cleaning your blade, tending your wounds as best you can, and preparing for the next march. Such is the rhythm of your life. Endless cycles of hardship, bound by duty and the strict codes of your clan. Honor is everything, yet it is a burden that weighs heavy on your shoulders. The smallest misstep, the faintest hint of cowardice could lead to shame, or worse, the expectation of ritual suicide to restore your name. And so you press on step after step, through forests and fields, mountain passes and muddy plains. You live not not for comfort nor for victory, but simply to endure. As the sun sets once more, you settle beside the crackling fire. Another night beneath the open sky with the distant howl of wolves reminding you how far you are from home. This is your world, a quiet struggle bound by ancient codes, wrapped in layers of lacquered armor and unspoken fears, a world of steady footsteps and quiet suffering, transitioning softly now, but beyond the weary marches and hidden battles of the foot soldiers, there lies another tale, one of loyalty beyond reason, honor carried to the grave. Let us now drift towards such a story, the tale of the 47, Ronin, and the night their legend was forged. The fall of the 47 Ronin, Japan's ultimate tale of loyalty and tragedy now. Let us move gently from the dust and hardship of the battlefield to a quieter, colder world where honor, revenge simmered beneath the surface of everyday life, a story whispered through generations. The tale of the 47 Ronin. Imagine yourself walking through Edo, the city we now know as Tokyo. It is the early 18th century and the streets are crowded with merchants, craftsmen, and the occasional passing samurai. The city hums with quiet energy, shutters creak in the wind, paper lanterns sway from wooden eaves, and the scent of charcoal and miso drifts through the air. But beneath this everyday rhythm, a tale is unfolding, one born from pride, insult, and an unbreakable bond of loyalty. It began with a man named Asano Naganori, a young daimyo lord of a provincial domain, who was summoned to serve at the shogun's court in Edo. There, he was tasked with a ceremonial duty, overseeing the reception of imperial envoys. Guiding him was Kira Yoshinaka, a high-ranking official known for his sharp tongue and haughty manner. It is said that Kira expected lavish gifts in exchange for his tutelage, gifts that Asano, whether by stubbornness or restraint, refused to provide. Insults followed, subtle at first, then sharp enough to wound a man's pride. The atmosphere grew thick with tension until, on a spring day within the halls of Edo Castle, Asano's restraint broke. He drew his blade inside the castle and unthinkable act and struck Kira. Though Kira survived with only minor wounds, Asano's fate was sealed. For drawing a weapon in the castle was a grave offense. Without delay, Asano was sentenced to death by seppuku ritual suicide on that very same day. His lands were seized, his family shamed, and his samurai left masterless. Ronin. These 47 men, now stripped of title and home, faced a grim choice to wander aimlessly, dishonored, or to take the path of vengeance. For months, they waited in the shadows. Their leader, Oishi Kuranosuke, orchestrated the plan with painstaking patience. Some Ronin disguised themselves as merchants or monks. Others took on the appearance of drunkards or gamblers, lulling their enemies into complacency. Oishi himself was said to have spent nights in brothels, feigning disgrace, all to divert suspicion. And then, in the heart of winter, as snow blanketed the rooftops and the city streets fell quiet, beneath heavy skies they struck. On a frigid night in December, the 47 Ronin gathered in secret, their breath curling in the air as they prepared their weapons. They moved through Edo's alleys in silence, their sandals muffled by fresh snow. Reaching Kira's mansion, they divided into two groups and breached the gates, their attack swift and efficient. Servants fled in panic as the Ronin searched the halls, calling out for Kira. At last, they found him hiding in a storage shed, trembling in fear. But this was not to be a chaotic revenge. Oishi knelt before Kira and offered him the chance to die with honor by his own hand. Kira refused, and so, with solemn resolve, they carried out their mission. Toward the 47 Ronin did not flee. They walked calmly and deliberately through the silent streets of Edo, carrying Kira's severed head to Asano's grave at Sengakuji Temple. There, they presented it as an offering, a final act of loyalty. The shogun had faced a dilemma. The Ronin had broken the law, yet their actions were lauded by many as the epitome of samurai virtue. After weeks of deliberation, the verdict came. They would be sentenced to death, but permitted to die with honor by seppuku. And so, on a cold February morning, the 47 Ronin gathered for the final time with calm dignity. They performed the ritual. One by one, their graves remain at Sengakuji Temple to this day, simple weathered stones, surrounded by incense and flowers left by quiet visitors. Their story has been told and rattled for centuries, a tale of patient revenge, unwavering loyalty, and the heavy cost of honor. As you sit now, listening in the stillness of your own time, you may feel the weight of that old world, pressing softly upon you, A world where silence could speak louder than words, where loyalty could carry a man through years of hardship, and where even in death there was dignity. Let us leave their story now, gently placing it back among the drifting snow and distant temple bells, and let us shift our gaze toward another hidden corner of Japanese history, one that hides in shadow behind whispered myths and imagined faces. We now drift toward the veiled world of the ninja, where fact and fiction blend in curious ways. The secrets of the ninja, truth versus legend. Now, let your mind grow even quieter as we step deeper into the hidden alleys of history, into a realm where the lines blur between truth and imagination. Tonight, we drift into the world of the ninja, figures cloaked in black, moving unseen through the night, masters of espionage, sabotage, and secrecy. Or so the stories go. Imagine yourself walking through the narrow streets of a small village, somewhere in the mountainous provinces of Japan. The roofs are low and thatched, and the air is cool, touched by the scent of pine and wood smoke. Here, beneath the quiet surface of ordinary life, live those who were known, sometimes with fear, sometimes with suspicion, as shinobi. The term ninja is a more modern name. In their own time, they were called shinobi no mono, quite simply those who sneak. You may picture them garbed in black from head to toe, scaling walls and vanishing in smoke, but the reality was far subtler, far quieter. The true work of the shinobi was not grand spectacle. It was observation, patience, waiting. They were spies, informants, scouts. Their greatest skill was the ability to blend in completely. A shinobi might pose as a farmer, a merchant, a wandering monk. They moved among common people, watching, listening, gathering whispers of troop movements or political plots. Their tools, too, were practical, often mistaken for farming implements. A short, straight sword that could also serve as a climbing aid. Wooden clogs modified to leave misleading footprints, small packets of smoke, or pepper dust to obscure an escape, but rarely the elaborate fireworks of modern tales. Their origins are as shadowed as their craft. Some trace their roots to the Iga and Kagea provinces, rugged, mountainous regions where independent clans mastered the arts of survival and guerrilla warfare. In these hidden valleys, shinobi families passed down their techniques through quiet instruction. Far from the reach of the central lords, their role was not rooted in honor or glory, but necessity. The samurai fought under strict codes of conduct. The shinobi operated in the spaces between those rules. They were tools of their masters, summoned not for open battle, but for missions where stealth was the only path to success. And yet, over time, the line between history and legend grew thin. Tales spread of shinobi walking across water, vanishing in clouds of smoke, or leaping impossible heights. Such stories offered comfort in a world of hidden threats, allowing people to believe in figures who could outwit the powerful and unseen dangers alike. Perhaps these stories were born from a deeper truth, that the greatest power of the shinobi was psychological. The mere idea of a ninja lurking nearby could unnerve even the bravest samurai. In many ways, the shinobi's legacy is not just one of hidden blades or secret tunnels, but of whispers carried on the wind, of shadows glimpsed from the corner of one's eye, of a presence felt, but never confirmed. Even today, scholars debate their history. Separating fact from myth proves difficult, as many records were deliberately destroyed or never written at all. Silence was their craft, and their story remains partially hidden even now. So, as you sit here in the quiet, listening to these soft recollections, you may find your mind wandering, picturing those silent figures treading softly across moss-covered paths, vanishing into the fog, leaving only questions behind. The world of the ninja remains as it always has been, half in light, half in shadow. And now, we leave that veiled world behind and turn toward the halls of the powerful, where polished floors glimmer beneath lantern light and secrets are traded behind silken screens. Let us step carefully into the refined yet dangerous world of the Daimyo's palace. Life in a Daimyo's palace, power, poise, and poison plots. Let us now drift away from the quiet forests and the shadowed paths of the shinobi, beyond the worn roads of foot soldiers, past the snowy graves of the Ronin, and enter with quiet steps another world entirely, the world of the Daimyo, lords of vast domains, rulers of castles and cities, figures of both elegance and quiet menace. Imagine yourself passing through the towering gates of a Japanese castle. Massive walls rise around you, crafted from stone and wood, designed to both impress and intimidate. Guards stand watch, their armor polished, their gaze steady but calm inside. Palace grounds unfold like a carefully arranged garden, raked gravel paths, trimmed pines. And beyond them, the main hall, its wooden beams stretching high, its paper screens glowing softly in the morning light. Here, the air is thick with the scent of incense and cedar, every footstep muffled against the smooth, polished floors within these walls. Life moves at a measured, deliberate pace. Servants glide silently through the corridors, carrying trays of tea or scrolls of correspondence. The Daimyo himself sits upon a raised platform, robed in layers of silk embroidered with delicate patterns, grains, plum blossoms, or rippling waves, though outwardly serene. This is a place where every word, every glance, carries weight. Politics hum quietly beneath the surface. Alliances are formed and broken over simple cups of tea. A misplaced phrase could spark a feud lasting generations. Dining within the palace is an elaborate ritual. Meals arrive in a procession of lacquered trays, each dish prepared not merely for nourishment, but as a display of beauty and status. Bowls of steaming rice, delicate slices of fish, their surfaces shimmering in the lamplight. Pickled vegetables arranged with the precision of a painter's brush. Silence fills the space as the Daimyo eats first. Only once he has tasted may others follow. At night, palace quiets further. Paper lanterns are lit, casting soft pools of golden light across the tatami floors behind closed screens. The Daimyo's advisors gather to discuss matters of war and diplomacy. Here, words are sharp, though spoken in gentle tones. Some plots are subtle arranged marriages, quiet shifts of trade, secret messages sent through trusted hands. Others are darker, whispers of poison, discreet assassins, or plots to undermine a rival's domain. Within the palace, elegance and danger dance closely. Together, women of the court, dressed in layered silk, move through the halls with grace. Trained in the art of conversation and social maneuvering, they hold influence, weaving threads of power through soft-spoken words and familial connections. Every gesture, every bow, every sip of tea follows a pattern, part of an unspoken code as rigid as any battlefield discipline. Yet for all its layers of ritual and refinement, life in the Daimyo's palace is not truly peaceful. The Daimyo lives under constant watch by retainers, spies, even the shogun's messengers. A single misstep could cost him his lands, his family, or his life, and so palace remains a place of quiet tension, a beautiful cage, where power is both displayed and hidden. As you sit here now, listening in the stillness, you may find yourself imagining that world, the soft click of sandals against wooden floors, the faint rustle of silk robes in dim corridors, the subtle fragrance of incense drifting through the halls, a world of poise, of beauty, and of ever-present shadows. Now, our quiet steps have carried us through many worlds tonight, from the muddy marches of foot soldiers to the patient revenge of the Ronin, through the veiled paths of the shinobi, and into the glittering chambers of the Daimyo's court. And slowly, softly, we begin to leave it all behind.